Hello my dears and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Pamela and I put out beauty related videos sometimes. Hey, you gotta give it to me. This is the second week that I've decided to come back to this YouTube land and here I am posting another video for you fine people. So I'm gonna give myself the credit and, you know, pat myself on the back and way to go Pam, way to go Pam. So you've already read the title, obviously, because that's why you clicked on this video. But I wanted to do a super duper simple, like, current makeup routine. I've been doing this makeup routine a lot lately because one, my skin has been so dry, you guys. Like, I don't know if you can see, parts of my eyelids are getting really dry, a lot of the areas around my chin. And I took a picture of myself not too long ago with like a full beat on, and I'm gonna insert the picture right here, right now. I got a new phone for Christmas, so I was like really feeling myself and really trying to like capture like the makeup that day, and I was outdoors and everything, and I was like, holy heavy, like my goodness, my makeup looked so heavy. I was like, ooh girl, less is more. Like, I gotta tone it down a little bit because my skin is extremely dry. I've been struggling, and every time I put on makeup I feel like it looks so heavy, so textured, so dry. So I've been doing this little routine here, and it's very minimal products considering I am somebody who puts on a lot of makeup. That's it. That's all the babbling I've got, so let's just get right into this. Yes. Okay, I haven't primed yet, so I've been using this e.l.f. Puff Puff primer lately. I will say it feels like a really thick moisturizer. It doesn't really do much for your pores, so if you do have a lot of pores, you probably wouldn't really care for this primer. So I just like that it definitely locks all this hydration in that I've got on my face already, because like I said, I've been so dry. Even my voice, like, I don't know if you can tell. I'm gonna let that sit for just like a second, and then we're gonna go in with a little bit of foundation. For foundation today, I'm just gonna use a little bit of the AOA Studio Buildable Satin Foundation. This is in the shade 304 This is in the shade 304 Sand, and I've been really liking this. I like very little on my face right now because, like I've been saying this whole time, I'm super duper dry, and this is really good. Like, it's a nice, like, almost like sheer to light coverage, but then you can definitely build it up. I mean, buildable is in the name, but I like very little, just enough to get rid of like all of this redness and a little bit of discoloration on my face. I'm gonna go ahead and take the AOA Studio sponge, and I am just going to tap this into the skin. Now, I didn't want to do a like chit chat get ready with me too much because I didn't want this video to be super duper long. I actually have a lot of stuff I need to do, but there is something that I sort of wanted to talk to you guys about, and so I figured, you know what, why not do this right now? And so what I really wanted to talk to you guys about is how I have quit social media. Back in September, I posted something on my YouTube here about how I'm going through sort of like a life change, and part of that was with the whole social media thing, and I was still kind of using my social media, but I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. Social media, and it's so funny because Kathleen had posted a video about it like literally 2 weeks after I'd quit social media. I noticed that social media was bringing me down, and it was also taking up a lot of my time. Like, I felt like I wasn't paying too much attention to like my family, my husband, or the kids or whatever, because I was so stuck on social media. I was always looking at people's lives, and like I was envious and jealous, and I always wondered, like, why isn't my life like that? Like, why do they get to live that life and I can't? Like, what do I have to do? Like, what exactly do I need to accomplish? And I also get really kind of depressed, I'm not gonna lie, around my birthday, because I've been a stay-at-home mom for quite some time, and although like I'm very fortunate and I love the fact that I've been a stay-at-home mom, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to get to raise my kids right now, but at the same time I feel like I haven't accomplished much. Another reason why I decided to delete my social media is because I was envious, and I kept comparing my life to others, and I thought, why haven't I achieved what I want to achieve, like in my YouTube platform or my Instagram platform? Like, why haven't I gotten to that status where I have this many followers or this many subscribers? And it was killing me. Like, it was, it sounds so silly, but it's true. Like, a lot of people have said that. Like, they've said that social media can really bring them down. And I gotta say, it's kind of gotten rid of my anxiety in a weird way. Like, I don't feel anxious. I don't feel pressured to post or to do any of that. And on top of that, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a lot of unwanted messages and a lot of unwanted, like, what is that word? Attention. A lot of unwanted attention on social media. And so I just felt it was time to get rid of it. And I don't mean a cleanse. I don't mean like, oh, I'm just gonna take a break and then just be off of social media for a week. Like, no. It's been, how many months has it been now? I think I officially deleted everything back in October. So November, December, about 2.5 months, I want to say, going on 3. And I feel so great. Like, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I feel like I don't need to be in everybody's business, because sometimes you'll find yourself lurking around other people's like profiles and stuff like that, and that wasn't good for me either. So I just decided that it was time. It was time to cut ties with all the social media world, and I honestly don't miss it. No, that's not true. I do miss one thing, and that is the fact that Colourpop posts like all their new releases, and I feel so left out. Like, it takes me a while to realize there's something new out when like the YouTubers start to post like new collections, and I'm like, oh, that's coming out. Or sometimes my sister's like, did you see this? And I'm like, no. And I've also missed out on a lot of Baby Yoda memes, but that's pretty much all that I've missed out on. So I also want to mention that if you try to or want to get a hold of me, you can always email me. My email will be down in the description bar below if you want to catch up. I've made a lot of connections here on YouTube, and I've most of the time been communicating via Instagram through like the Messenger or whatever. But since I don't have that anymore, if you want to get in contact with me or just chat about life like we have in the past or whatever, just email. For concealer today, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer. I did an entire review on this, and I am still loving this a whole lot. It is the best concealer I think I have tried from the drugstore. For powder, I am just going to use a little bit of the AOA Studio Perfect Setting Powder in Soft Light, and I mean the tiniest bit. Like, that's basically all I'm going to be using today because, oh, am I dry. Just gonna take a fluffier brush and pick up the rest of this powder and just lightly tap this all over the face. Literally, that's all the powder I'm going to be using. For bronzer, I'm trying to use up all of my Wet n Wild products right now because if you know anything about Wet n Wild, well, I'm just going to be using the bronzer, or the stick bronzer, in the shade Call Me Maple. And I'm just going to apply it straight onto my brush here. And I'm going to lightly chisel. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. Don't worry, it'll blend out. And yes, you can use these over powder. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. At least I think I do. For blush, I'm going to go in with the Colourpop, what is this called? A Super Shock Cheek in the shade Drop of a Hat. This is gorgeous. And I'm going to use my sponge here. I'm just going to dip the butt into the pot. That sounds funny. Smile awkwardly and ever so slightly stamp that onto my cheeks. Look at how beautiful that looks. For highlighter, I'm going to use a combination of these two because one is too light and one is too dark. The first one I'm going to apply is Parasol, and oh my gosh, this color is beautiful. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that onto my finger here and just tap, 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 and bring it around town. I'm just going to take my sponge and sort of press this in, blend it out a little bit. make it look like my skin is hydrated. And then for a little extra, I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of lunch money on the very tippity tops of my cheeks. I'm going to be using the You Had Me at Hello palette from Colourpop. I've been really digging this palette lately. Where are my brushes? So I'm just going to go into, you know what, I hate that the old palettes have the names only on the back, so I'm just going to point to them, you guys. I'm just going to go into this shade right here, and I'm going to take a little bit of that. Are my eyelids super creasy? Look at how dry my eyelids are. Isn't that crazy? I'm just going to take a little bit of that and sort of apply it kind of like all over the lid. My eye makeup has been very minimal and almost non-existent so far this year. And I just can't stand the idea of crusty eyelids with like more powder on top. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go ahead and swish my brush to something a little bit more fluffy like this one here. And I'm going to pick up just a little bit of this terracotta-y color. I don't know. It's kind of like a really light terracotta color. This palette is so like underrated when it was like, you know, in stock, because I don't even think they make this palette anymore, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Have you picked up anything recently from Colourpop that you really like? Let me know, because the last thing I picked up from them was the Kathleen Lights Mega like giant palette, and although I love that palette, like, and I get a good use out of it, I kind of want something new. And I was telling my friend, Makeup with Mariela, that this year I'm trying to only purchase 2 palettes, you guys. Like, last year I was like sitting down like thinking about it, and I only purchased 4 palettes. I was like, dang, that's pretty good considering there's like a palette release every 5 minutes. So this year I wanted to cut that number down in half. I really want another palette. Like, I'm like starting to get a little bit bored, and I've been really good about like rotating my stash like every week. Every Monday I like go into my eyeshadow palettes and I tell myself, okay girl, like what are you gonna use this week? And then I pick out 2, and between those 2 I sort of like rotate them throughout the week, and then, you know, I play it from there, and it's been fun. Like, I've been digging into palettes that I haven't touched in months, maybe even years. It's fun. Like, been experimenting with a lot, and this week I decided to play with this palette and only this palette because I forgot how much like I love this palette. But that's another thing, you forget like what you like. So can you even see what I'm doing? Oh gosh, I'm so rusty, you guys. I'm just adding a little bit of this. Oh gosh, I'm so bad at this. I'm so rusty. A little bit of this terracotta color here with this little brush that I got in an Ipsy bag forever ago. Kind of just getting rid of the creasing from my concealer, because as I mentioned in that video, I have yet to find a concealer that doesn't crease on me. I'm gonna go back in with that brush. This is one from Coastal Scents that I love so much. I'll have it linked if you're interested. But I'm just kind of like making sure everything's nice and blended. You could see the crusty right in there. Oh, so bad. The way that I figure out to cover up my crustiness is I take a shimmering shade, and what do I want to use today? I'm gonna take a little bit of this shade right here. It's really calling my name, and I literally just kind of like pat into it and pick up the slightest amount, and I kind of just do this, literally pat it very soft all over the lid. I don't want intense like foil looking eyelids, just because I said they're so dry, and like I try to put the least amount of product on my eyes right now. Like, that's all I'm doing for my eyes, you guys, because this will literally get crusty and like all the eyeshadow will cling on to it, and it's just not a pretty look anymore. So that's it for the eyes. Oh wait, inner corner highlight. You can never forget the inner corner highlight. I think I'm just going to use this shade right here. Super duper pretty. And plop that in the inner corner. Wow, that's nice. This probably would make a really nice highlight too. Now for mascara, I have 2 that I'm using. I'm currently using this AOA Studio Skinny Mascara on the lower lashes. I've been really digging on the Shop Miss A products. I've I've been purchasing a lot. I have an order coming in probably sometime next week because I placed that order yesterday. But I'm gonna go ahead and just apply a little bit. Like, look at how skinny this one is. How perfect is that for the lower lash line? And I don't like too much on my lower lashes, and I've noticed that this particular formula is very like thick and not very liquidy, which I'm now thinking is perfect because my mascara will always smudge on the bottom lash. And then for the top lashes, I have been using the Covergirl Exhibitionist Uncensored mascara, and this alright. This isn't anything crazy, I'll be honest. I definitely prefer the Lash Princess one over this, but it's not terrible. So now I'm going to take a little bit of brow gel and just set these bad boys in.